Welcome to the Cambridge University Drag Hounds, the huntsman Sam Morgan and the whipper-in Joe Pomfret. Followed by our hounds, the men on horseback, the huntsman, or huntswoman in this case, the field master and the field. Lines are typically laid in areas that minimise the risk of hounds coming across other animals, for example in wide open areas. And the objective is to allow the riders to witness the hounds following the scent across a series of obstacles. In drag hunting, those in control of the hounds... By breeding the hounds themselves, the CUDH now have a more consistent pack. Today there are 6.5 couple of hounds being paraded. These include Bonkers, Basket, who donate to this very worthy cause. Sam is riding Dolly. Dolly is a well-seasoned hunter and loves coming out to days like this and showing off the hounds. However, Dolly doesn't like jumping big jumps, so he's often ridden by the student masters on a hunting day and tends to look after those riders who don't want to jump. Sam has another horse for the jumping days, Marge. All of our meets and other information on the hunt can be found on the Cambridge University Drag Hounds website and Facebook page. Okay, so they've now paraded the hounds and they're now gathered in the middle of the arena, and we'd like to invite you all to come in and meet the hounds. They're very friendly, so you're welcome.
Yeah, I know. Probably louder.
Flynn absolutely loves being the centre of attention down there. So, like I say, that's Flynn. I never dreamt that Flynn, because he is a bit of an asbo at times, would actually take to this decorated harness lark. So it's been very nicely surprising that he's kind of said, actually, not only will I do it, but I actually quite like doing it as well. Right, I'm now going to swap with Ed, so just bear with me, and I'll take this pair of horses round the ring and just let you see them move. So, as you can see, they're both wearing their nameplates at the front, so we know who's who. They're hanging off the collar there. We've got Arnie on the outside, Fox on the inside. Pretty boys, good lads. Now these two work together really nicely as a pair. If you look, they're both up in their chains, both doing their job. Good lads. Good boys. Good boy, Fox. Good boy, Fox. Good lads. Walk on together. Walk on, Arnie. Good boy. So as you can hear, I'm talking to them all the time. And because the only communication you have with driving horses is your hands and your voice, how you are with them and what you say determines how they go for you. You want to keep your voice calm, and you want to support them. Good boys. Good boys. You're looking ahead to see for any kind of thing that might be about to spook them or worry them, so you can reassure them through it. Good lads. They're both up in their chains, both doing their job. Good lads. Good boys. Good boy, Fox. Good boy, Fox.
Yeah.
Good lads.
Rosa came into being in 1948. Many of you have seen the film Ice Cold in Alex. Everybody spotted the deliberate mistake. They're supposed to be in Alexandria in wartime, and there are 2 or 3 military Land Rovers in the background that obviously dates the film. somewhat later than that. Light agricultural duties, as well as being used on the road for various tasks. Those first Land Rovers in 1948-50, very sought after now. And something like 75% of all Land Rovers ever produced are still on the road, which, if you've ever been in a Land Rover, really is quite an achievement. Oh, we've now been joined by a Jeep and a little motor scooter that was designed to be dropped by parachute and provide quick and easy transport. A friend of ours down in East Anglia used to have one of these, had great fun in joining in various different parades whenever we felt like it in the ring of the rallies. A couple more Jeeps have joined us now. Ford or a Willis, My grandfather sold it for £5. I'm reliably informed they're worth more than £5 now. Hello there. Which one? Well, it's just always good to be a hooligan. Life's too short. Another one of our Jeeps now. Which one of you would like to be spokesman?
I don't mind speaking.
There you go, mate.
Hello. We've got a 1942 Ford GPW.
Lovely job. So that ours was a Willis. We sold it for a £5. Is it worth more than a £5 now?
I only paid £2 for this.
Hey, everybody's always had a better deal than me. Hello there.
How are we doing?
Hello there. Tell us a little bit about your...
Yeah, so this is a pretty standard 1945 Willys Jeep. It's got the airframe on the front, which is quite nice. Yeah, and I go all over the place with it. Done quite a lot of miles in the old girl. She goes
Lovely
pretty
job.
well.
We're going to demonstrate some of the unique points on this tractor. As we're here, obviously a steam rally. A field marshal probably did as much as any other tractor or machine to bring an end to steam on the farms, because basically the field marshal tractor could take over exactly where the thrashing engine left off. We've all seen the thrashing demonstration in the corner of the field, with the barrel traction engine driving the drum. A lot of contractors, when they packed up with steam, they went on to using things like this. It's a single-cylinder diesel engine, and it was delivered to Wisbeach station, and they put it together, they put the chimney on, and they didn't read the instruction book, they didn't need the instruction book. They just put the cartridge in it and hit that. But they hadn't set the decompressor or anything. So there was a lot of smoke, and Wisbeach goodyard disappeared, and luckily they didn't break anything, so then they had to get the instruction book out and follow the instructions. Oh, we seem to have a stray steamroller joining us in the arena now, and we'll worry about that in a little while. I can't multitask, I can only do one thing at a time. So Sam's now got the starting handle. The very last of these field marshals, they actually made the engine run the opposite way. They thought it might stop the engine tractor bouncing quite so much. They were wrong, basically. A friend of mine worked for a tractor dealer, it's Walden. He's gone now. But he got a job of delivering a threshing drum from Saffron Walden to Southend behind the Phil Marshall tractor. And then he had to drive the tractor back to Walden afterwards. He reckoned he was still bouncing up and down 3 days later. He was not very impressed. And every time he saw one on the rally field, whereas we all might say, oh, what a lovely field marshal, that is not what Morris used to say. So Sam's now set the flywheel in the start position. It's marked on there, and the decompressor, which is the little wheel here, is set the requisite number of turns. As if you imagine on the inside of the flywheel here, there's like a large thread that the wheel on the decompressor runs in. He's now going to light the taper. You know, in earlier single cylinder tractors that start with a blowtorch, but field marshals use, but are we allowed to say fag paper now? It's like a fag paper, little tape, and you roll it up and you light it, and then you might look at that and think, well, what does that do? Well, I'll tell you something for nothing, it won't start without it. So you get that smouldering nicely, and then that screws in the front here in the cylinder head. So we're good to go. It's all set in the start position. The decompressor's set. The tapers are light. It's out of gear. And there we are. So you imagine you'd had to get up 2 hours early, particularly on a Monday morning, to steam your thrashing engine up, and then suddenly you had one of these, and you could wander down to the stackyard, stuff the handle in the flywheel, and away you went. And to be honest, hand starting with the handle was the preferred method of starting these, because you did get a bit of residue off of the cartridge that could stick your valve up, and then you'd be in the embarrassing position of having a thrashing job to do and having a tractor that wouldn't start. There we are, Sam's shut her off again. Having set it back in the start position and set the decompressor a fewer number of turns. I'm now going to light the blue touch paper again. There we go. A friend of mine with the field marshal went to Crawford's in Boston for some bits and pieces. They've been field marshal dealers for years and years, and they wanted to know if they could interest him in a box of starting cartridges. He said, I've got 400 in my house. They said, you've got more than we had. Probably a bit damp, because those ones his granddad had bought. So you see now Sam's taken the cover off the receptacle where the cartridge goes. I put the cover back on. A special mallet. Did that come with it? Just like that. Now I've taken the cover off to withdraw the cartridge, as long as it don't get stuck. If it does get stuck, if you give that a yank and fire it out, but you've got to be very careful what you're firing it out into. So there, that's lovely. You all know how to start a field marshal tractor now. You've all learned something, hopefully. Big thank you to Sam for bringing his tractor in. Same time, same place tomorrow. And we'll let him go back to the tractor area. It's a lovely machine, these. They're also available with a winch if you've got a contractor's model. And we took a friend of mine, Steel Marshall, and winched a hedge out of a nursing home garden once while the gardener was on holiday. Didn't go down overly well, so the least said about that the better. Anyway, our next event in the in the arena here, I'm not playpen until next week, is the Grand Parade of Steam. But we're going to have to sort out this interloping steamroller first. It's an Aveling roller, we know that, it's got a horse on the front. All Aveling rollers have a horse on the front. There is a reason for that. More than happy to tell you the reason in the beer tent later. Anyway, I'm going to tell this gentleman here, in no uncertain terms, because I haven't got a cup of tea and he has. I'm telling you in uncertain terms, I'm afraid your steamroller is in the wrong place and it needs to be elsewhere. Oh, I don't know how. Oh, I'm not qualified. I haven't got a ticket. Well, I'm afraid if you're not going to help me in my capacity as commentator and all, we're going to send to the constabulary. Well, that sounds like a challenge to me. He said send for constabulary. Our representative of the Kent Constabulary, as Lord Spooner might have said. Here we go. I'm going to keep out the way. They're already looking for me. He's going the long way on his smooth bicycle. And he said I'm not allowed to comment on his bike riding ability, but I think you are. Look at that. Here he is, the long arm of the law.
Now listen here, sir, you're going to have to move this fine engine. It's now time for the Grand Parade of Steam, and you've parked this in contravention of the Highways Act. Absolutely, you need to move it. All these other engines are waiting to come into the arena. These fine people are waiting, and you're stopping them, aren't you? He's having his tea, everyone. Shall we give him a boo? Oh, that was a bit naff. Shall we give him a boo?
I think someone's going to be walking home. Sue wants to bid me for a classic bicycle. One careful owner. I'm not in charge of directions, but yeah, round that way apparently. Here we got the first of our miniature engines now. It's a Burrell single-cylinder traction engine, agricultural engine, and that's followed by Ellen, and Ellen is a road loco. Single crank compound example, this one. So we talk of models, we talk of how many inches scale they are to help you get a handle on just exactly what we mean. We're talking inches to the foot. So if you've got a 4-inch scale model, like that one there, that's 4 inches to the foot, or a third. So look at it this way, you've got a full-size engine like Lord help us there. You could say that was 12 inches to the foot, full size. 6-inch scale model is half size, and so on and so forth. Okay, we've got some more of our miniature engines now. We've got Tigger. Tigger is a Fowler road engine, 4-inch scale. An engine that's had work here at Marston and been repainted, owned by Morris Phipps and Lewis Hughes, and he's towing Doug Fleet on his 4-inch scale Burrell Scenic. Another one of our Burrell road engines now. And then we're getting into slightly larger scale models. So little green barrel here has got plenty of steam, as you can see. When you see an engine letting off steam like that from the top, that's the safety valve. It means that the boiler pressure has reached what is set as the working pressure of the boiler. If it increases past that point, the safety valve lifts to release any excess pressure. Okay, so Fred is a Devonshire type Burrell traction engine owned by the Warby family for very many years in 6-inch or half-size scale. And this is followed by the Marshall, owned by Mr. Crump. Marshall 73901, new to James Franklin Ketley of Sewers End in Essex. Now Mr. Ketley was a bit of a steam enthusiast. He didn't really have need of a big fancy Marshall engine like that, but whether he had a drink at the county show, I don't know. But he bought it just for threshing on his own farm, and it said that if the wind blew the dirt from the threshing tackle towards the engine, he'd have it turned round to stop the dust blowing on his engine. And also, whenever he had the steam ploughing contractors come to his farm, he'd always ask to drive one of the engines to the next job. It was owned by the Pumphrey family in Duxford from 1924 until 1943. The threshing was driven by the late Fred Pumphrey, who was my great-grandfather. It was then sold to Harold Rodwell of the Limes in Harston, and when he'd had enough, he sent to the Richard Bruce for scrap. Robin Neville rescued that from Bruce's scrapyard for preservation and for odd jobs around the estate, before selling her through the personal column of the Times to Hamish Ewing. And Hamish owned it for very many years before he passed to Dave Wuthers, who subsequently passed to Mr. Crump, who owns the engine now. Nice engine, that one, and another one who have had the Marston treatment. And that's followed by a half-size or 6-inch scale Auction traction engine. Auction engines were built in Northampton, so not very far away. There aren't a tremendous amount of them surviving now, and we've probably got quite a high percentage of them here this weekend. And now we have another Foden, this one in 9-inch scale. So you can see Foden wagons mostly are what's known as an overtype wagon. They have the engine over the boiler like a normal traction engine, and then a chain drive, which you can just see if you look underneath as it comes past you. Chain drive down to the rear axle. Now we've got a half-size barrel single-cylinder traction engine. The majority of the Gresham engine would be just an ordinary single-cylinder engine. They used the steam ones and exhaust it up the chimney. Compound engines were more efficient, but they were also more expensive. Kevin Edwins and family now with their lovely half-size Foden drop-side wagon. And it's another one fitted with cast wheels with solid tyres. Yeah, someone's name. Right, well, we'll have our whistle up then, so I'm going to count down from 3. Presumably it works in Market Harbour the same way as it does in East Anglia. And then when I get to 1, if you can all blow your whistles, that would be lovely. So anybody with a nervous disposition, put your fingers in your ears, put your hands over them, or turn your back and crawl under a rock and hide. So in 3, 2, 1, go! Well, one day I'm going to get you all coordinated enough so we can actually play a tune on the whistles, but that's not going to be today. So now, okay, so I've had my instructions. I'm going to count you down from 3. When you get to 1, when you want to start pulling. 3, 2, 1, pull! Go on, keep pulling. Don't let him start. Oh. That's it. Pull him back. And there we are. Yep, engine have it, well done. Good try. Well, all ready. Engine driver ready. All of you ready. I'll count you down. 3, 2, 1, go! There. That's it, go on, Paul.
Oh, big hole!
That's it, go on, Paul. It's only an Evelyn. Oh. Anyway, that wraps up our steam games for this afternoon, and we'll shortly be getting on with the rest of our ring events. So I can see we've been joined by the gentleman from the air ambulance, who even say that the previous model, slightly high compression ratio. Lots of people didn't like them, but Grandad always reckoned they were better than the blue one. With Leyston built traction engines and steam tractors. We've got a number of examples of those here this weekend, and that is the internal combustion tractor. The Forson Dexter, raising money for Dementia UK, the pink Dexter, and Forson's attempt to break into the market. We had an LSU on a grain drying fan, and our man used to be sent every morning to try and start it, and he'd swing and swing the handle, just like this gentleman's doing. And then my father would wander up, go, what's the matter with you? Pull the handle away. It's a variant of the Alice B, as you can see, it's got the pair of wheels in the front for working in row crop conditions. Another one of our Forson Dexters with a transport box on the back, very popular on farms for jobs for carting around milk churns and other items, now very sought after. And this one's got a nice matching trailer on the back. Another one of our Fergusons. This one's fitted with probably a Ferguson manufactured mounted home. Sold back in the day to farmers wanted something a bit bigger and better than a Forson. So, are we ready?
It's going to come first.
You can probably work out that Alice isn't of standard spec.